HPD's acting police chief Larry Satterwhite was introduced to Houstonians during a news conference Wednesday where he took questions from reporters.
Today, KPRC 2 Investigates Mario Diaz is taking a closer look at that news conference and says some of the acting chief's answers didn't quite add up.
I can only tell you what I remember.
This is the new acting Houston Police Chief, Larry Satterwhite, minutes into his first news conference. Satterwhite is a 34-year veteran. He was elevated to the city's police chief role after a few years of being one of former Chief Troy Finner's right-hand men as an executive assistant chief.
Certainly, I believe it was on the agenda, and I remember something about it. I just don't remember enough about it.
Satterwhite is talking about the November 2021 meeting where Finner first claimed he learned criminal incident reports were being suspended due to the lack of manpower. Satterwhite said he briefly attended the meeting, then left for a security walkthrough of the Astroworld Festival at NRG. The key question asked during his first presser as chief: when did he first learn of the code?
So it was very obvious that we had a problem, I think, going into the end of last year. I want to say it's actually towards the end of 23, early 24 in January and all. I had a lot of things going on. It still was not my focus.
As you have just seen multiple times, the new acting chief told the room and Houstonians watching at home about when he first learned of the controversial code.
Chief Satterwhite, for clarification purposes, and you knew Chief Finner very well. You spent a lot of time with him during the course of the weeks and days in your role. And you stood with him on February 22nd when he had the initial news conference. And at that news conference, he indicated to all of Houston that he learned that the code was being used again on February 7th of this year. But in hearing you earlier, you said you had realized that the code was being used at the end of 2023. Can you explain how you, in your position, and knowing the significance of your role in the department and the interactions with Chief Finner, that you did not convey that to Chief Finner in last year?
So, and this is the problem, because it seems like sometime at the end of the year I heard something about this.
But suddenly, Satterwhite struggled to recall the period surrounding what minutes earlier he called an obvious problem at the end of 23, early 24.
Maybe it was January, maybe it was February. That's the problem here, is that I'm trying to struggle on exactly when and what it was I actually might have heard or not. And so I don't want it to sound like I just don't know.
No, I understand, Chief, but when you tell us, and you're talking to Houstonians live on television right now,
right,
and you say that you were aware of this code being used last year, and then we ask you the question again, and you come back and say, well, I think I heard, I'm not so sure. We just went through this the last 3 months.
Right. No, and I don't want to be going back through that where you're getting misinformation. I really, like I said, I want to say maybe something was that I'd heard something, and maybe it was on a specific case or something like that towards the end of the year, beginning of the year. I just simply don't know.
But why was it an escalated, Chief? Why did you not convey that to Chief Finner?
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't. I'm at that point where I guess I didn't register. I'm going on recall right now.
Ultimately, Satterwhite became apologetic.
I am sorry. It's not like I knew that we were suspending cases and doing all these things, and for lack of manpower on sexual assaults. I didn't know any of those things.
Chief Satterwhite and Mayor John Whitmire say they both plan to be transparent while the investigation into the suspended incident reports continues. A big question surrounding the investigation is the, quote, game-changing Hatcher letter. I first told you about that letter last Friday. You can see that story right now on click2houston.com. I'm Mario Diaz, KPRC 2 Investigates.